I'm Linda Coles, and this is Tell Us a Story. Just a heads up that the internet gods were not particularly kind on the day I recorded this one, but I thought I'd publish it anyway because Tim had got a lot of good stuff to say, so even if you catch a chunk of it and not all of it, it's worthwhile listening to. Enjoy the show. Chief JUCYfier Tim Alpe is the co-founder and CEO of JUCY, one of Australasia's leading and fastest growing independent tourism brands with branches located across New Zealand, Australia and the USA. JUCY is fun and innovative. It's renowned for its distinctive purple-green compact campervans that are also decorated in 1950s style Lucy, which sort of adorns most of them. And there will be many people that have never actually seen them, certainly if you're in New Zealand. The company was founded back in 2001 by New Zealand brothers Tim and Dan Alpe, and since then has grown from just 35 cars to a fleet of over 5,000 cars, campers and motorhomes. Tim was named as Sir Peter Blake Leadership Award recipient in 2014 and also won the EY New Zealand Entrepreneur of the Year award in 2010. Their bright and fun brand is a household travel name in Australasia, and they've got a mission to paint the world green and purple. Here to tell us much more is Tim Alpe. Hello Tim, how are you?
Hi Linda, how are you going?
Excellent, thank you. So you obviously got the tourism bug some time ago, enough to go out and start your own brand. So tell us how that all sort of eventuated.
Yeah, I mean, I think tourism bug for me happened at a very early age. I was fortunate to grow up with my grandfather on my father's side had a tourism business called Alpe Travel in North Coast Shore in Auckland. My father then got involved in tourism. He worked there, and then he started Maui campervans. So kind of, I suppose it was, I was destined really, it was in the blood. I didn't really have much of a choice.
And you still see those Maui campervans on the road a lot now, but probably not as much as your little purple and green ones.
Yeah, I hope to see more of ours. That was always, I suppose, a goal between father and son. So, no, it's great. It's one of those things where, I sort of grew up around the kitchen room table talking about campervans and tourism the whole time. And I suppose it was kind of just, that was always going to be the case that we'd eventually get involved in the tourism industry, and as it turned out, it's actually been pretty good, really. Yeah.
So take us through those early days then. I mean, did you just start with one car or one vehicle, and where did you get the money from?
Yeah, so we started back when Dan and I were relatively young. I think we were maybe 25 and 26, or 25 and 24, and so we were pretty young. I mean, at the time I was working for a public company in New Zealand. It's a big tourism business over here. So I was doing well. I was sort of grown, to be one of the general managers running a business unit for them, and it was all going very, very well. But I kind of struggled a little bit with the red tape and bureaucracy that comes along with some corporates, and really struggled to sort of adapt to having to write, massive big business plans to do anything. And thought, you know what, there's got to be an opportunity. So we're away as a family, and we just got talking about, my brother and I, about maybe starting a car rental business sort of targeting the backpacker market. And we went out there and we bought 35 cars, borrowed the money off the family, and we bought 35 very budget Daewoo cars. And Daewoo's are little Korean vehicles. They used to have a sign on the back that said there's not much you can do in a Daewoo, and there's nothing you can do. These things were pretty average vehicles. But we bought them off the hospital board. They were very cheap. And then we opened a little garage in Parnell and started renting cars to backpackers. And that's kind of how it all began.
Right. And then how did you sort of get into the campervan-y things? Because the Daewoos were just rental cars, were they not?
Yeah, they were just rental cars. And we still run a big fleet of rental cars now. We've got over 2,000 rental cars still, so that's still a big part of our business. But I suppose what really changed for us was when we looked at the campervan side of the opportunity, and we always thought, coming from a family which ran campervans back in the day with my father, we kind of thought, campervans are a great opportunity. There's a bit of a niche market. And we decided we were going to look to build our own. And we went out there and looked at what was out there in terms of what you could get. And you could either buy brand new off a builder, or you could buy second-hand vehicles off the big guys who were finished with them. And both weren't really factors that we couldn't afford brand new ones, and B, we didn't really like like the old ones that have been sort of camp vans for 6 or 7 years. So we started to go to, looked around and we went to Japan and we bought some sort of second-hand high-ace vans. Mm. We came back and we were just talking to people about what we should design. And someone said, hey, go talk to boat builders. They work in really confined spaces and they create really great little areas. And so when we spoke to the boat builders and we designed a camper van out of full fiberglass that had never really been done before in terms of the interior. And we built our first camper van probably back in 2005. And then, then we decided that, these were big working billboards, and we decided to paint them all green and purple, and away we went, really.
Well, there's nobody else, I don't think, that uses green and purple quite the way that you do. Very, very
No, luckily it's very much synonymous with us, yes, it's good.
So do you think New Zealand's the easiest place to start the camper van side of the business that you did? I mean, with the tourists that come to this country, and you probably know more figures than me, but it seems like an obvious place to do it if you're going to do it.
Yeah, look, I think so. I mean, I think New Zealand's pretty well designed for camper vanning. We have incredible scenery, we have incredible facilities. The campgrounds are amazing. The ability to travel around the country and see amazing things by yourself, and it's easy country to drive. So I think all those factors lined up is that camper vanning is a very popular way of travelling in New Zealand, and it's kind of small enough where, if you have an office in Auckland, one in Christchurch, it's pretty easy to sort of manage the fleet. Whereas in Australia and in the US, they're very, very big markets, and you've got people going in very different directions. It's a little harder to manage.
So you've got 16 branches across New Zealand, Australia and the US. No, sorry, 16 branches in New Zealand, or 16 across the world now?
I think it's 16. Good question. I think it's 16 across New Zealand, Australia and the US.
Okay, right. And then you've also got something relatively new, which is JUCY Snooze accommodation. So tell us about that, because that's not just the norm sort of booking into a motel, is it? It's something a little bit different.
No. Yeah, I mean, we kind of from the start really wanted to build JUCY as a travel brand, a tourism brand that crossed over not just rental vehicles, but also crossed into other aspects of customers' journey. And throughout, it came out of our customers saying to us, we love hiring the vehicles, we love the brand, we love the culture within it, but we'd love to have no places to stay, and maybe could you guys do accommodation? And kind of we looked at it, and an opportunity came up for us to take over a 65-room B&B in Auckland CBD, and which we did, and we sort of rebranded it to JUCY Snooze, and it went really, really well, and it kind of proves to us that we can get people from our cars into accommodation, and so it was really good. So we kind of did that. Subsequently we've launched one in Christchurch, right at Christchurch Airport, which is a pod type accommodation, so like capsules, sleeping capsules, which opened a year ago, and we have one being built at the moment in Queenstown, which we hope to open about on the 1st of April next year. It'll be finished in the next 3 months, and that's a 5-story property in Queenstown, which is a pretty big flagship right downtown Queenstown. And then we have other options we're looking at in other areas of New Zealand and Australia. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So where does your inspiration come from? Because you've also got a camper van manufacturing company as well. So you're really developing the brand into all sorts of things that are still within that travel industry, sector. So what's new? What's coming next? Or where do you get your inspiration from?
I think we look at our core market. So our core market is very much that 18 to 35-year-old adventure traveller, or the eternally young. I mean, we get lots of 65-year-old Germans and Poms, and so we get a whole mix of people. But we kind of look at how they travel, and we say, that's how they travel. How can we provide, really amazing experiences and products that enable them to see different parts of the world? So we kind of look at that. We've got a cruise company in the Milford Sound that we have two boats that do daily cruises around there, and that came as a direct result of our customers, saying to us they go to Milford Sound, they want an incredible experience. So we go out there and look. So we're constantly looking at opportunities. I think right now Snooze is a pretty big focus point for us, because it's one that we think can have a huge impact, not just across New Zealand, but also into Australia and the US as well.
Well, I read an article only recently, it might have been in Ink actually, about capsules, snoozing type capsules in airports and in shopping centres. So, and they were saying rather than have a cup of coffee to perk yourself up, pop yourself into a capsule and go to snooze for a while, which I thought was a great idea. So maybe we'll see some purple and green ones of those in shopping centres and airports.
Yeah, that's definitely on the cards. Definitely on the cards.
So, I mean, you've been going a while now and you've had some outstanding success. So when did you sort of think, you know, we've got something here. We're actually, we're making it. Do you know when that was?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think people always, you know, they've said, oh, when do you think you got to a stage where it was? I think the first few years is always about, in any business, is about sort of survival and making sure you can get through to the next period of phase. I think you constantly, I mean, our business has always been very much around growth and focusing on growth, and not growing for the sake of growing, but growing on the back of, you know, successful products and that we can offer to our customers. So I think it's sort of, do we kind of, it's a hard question, because I think, you know, it has been great and we have done some really, really cool things, but I kind of still feel like we're just scratching the surface of the opportunity. So, you know, it's definitely not saying, you know, we're done, we're here, we're done, or we're going to get out. We think there's massive opportunity for this business and this brand across all the markets and new markets that we operate in.
So the company's received many industry accolades. You obviously enter awards such as the People's Choice Golden Backpack Award of 2015 for the best car camper rental in New Zealand for the 10th year in a row, and the best Australian car camper van rental Golden Backpack Award in 2017. So obviously entering awards and winning awards is an important part of the company, and it also gives you something to really focus on as when you actually enter the awards, when you're going through the criteria. So is that something that you spend a lot of time on, or I mean, these are obviously People's Choice Awards. Is that something a bit different?
So no, I think it's always nice to be. I mean, it's always fantastic to be recognised, and I think it's even better to be recognised when it's People's Choice Awards, and when it's your customers who are the ones out there choosing you and saying that, you know, that they really love what you do, and that you know they encourage you to keep doing it. So I think it's important. It's not something that we focus on hugely in terms of running out and entering everything, but I think it's great. It's also very good from a culture perspective. You know, our guys take a lot of pride when we win awards, and it drives them when we don't win. It drives them to do more. So I think it's always a great way. It's a great way to increase your profile as a business. So no, I think all in all, it's a good thing to be involved in.
Now, I remember when I saw you speak some years ago, I think it might have been at one of Anna Stretton's networking events, if my memory serves me right, and you had on just about everything that was green and purple from an accessory point of view. I won't ask about your undies. But,
they're juicy as well. So.
But you said then that you were a branding company that just happened to supply camper vans and cars. Is that how you think people should look at their company? As, you know, you've got your widget, but actually you're a marketing and branding company, and your widget is secondary.
Yeah, I think that's very much the case for us. I think you know, we are very much a marketing and sales business, and we're also very much a technology business as well now. So in terms of where our focus point is, and we just happen to run, you know, accommodation and transportation and cruises and stuff. So I think it's very much. I mean, we are a business that does focus heavily on brand and on building products and innovative products, and I suppose it's been probably our point of difference. And you can see it from our vehicles on the road. You can see it when you walk into JUCY offices, or you can see it when you look at our crew and our staff. So it's probably just a little bit of a point of difference that we have to, I suppose, some of our competitors. And when you're in a market like ours, especially in stuff like car rental, which is incredibly competitive, like, you know, there's just so many competitors, you've got to stand up and you've got to stand out. And for us, the way to do that is to be a little bit different. Sometimes be a little bit, you know, a little bit risky, and we won't appeal to everyone, and that's okay with us. We're okay with that.
Yeah. But I also remember, and I can't remember what the vehicle was, but you were up for an award, and it might have been something to do with entrepreneurs. But did you ship over? Was it a Hummer or a stretched camper van or something? Can you remember?
Yeah. We were. I was in when I was very lucky enough to represent New Zealand at the Entrepreneur of the Year Awards
That's right.
in Monte Carlo. We shipped across one of our JUCY green and purple camper vans with the rooftop tent and you know what? It was, you know, here we were surrounded by Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and our vehicle was the one that stood out and got the most attention. So it was always a nice little piece.
It's a nice thing to do. So let's talk about some of your marketing then, as well as the vehicles, because your vehicles all have Wi-Fi on board, don't they? Certainly your camper vans do. So is that on purpose so that you can get the users to generate some content of their own travels and encourage them to pop it up onto YouTube and generate content that way? Or is it for something else entirely?
Yeah, no, I think twofold. I think our customers are customers that are connected. They travel with multiple devices, and they're people that share, and they love to share their experience when they're good, and they actually love to share their experience when it's not so good. So it can be a double-edged sword. But for us, it's about, you know, our customers are our greatest sales tool, and they're the ones who are out experiencing, whether it's in New Zealand, Australia, or in the US, and they're the ones posting about their experiences. So if we can give them the tools to make that easier, enable them to do so, then it's great for us, and it's even better for them.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you've got over 65,000 Facebook fans and 14,000 Instagrammers and had over 8 million hits on YouTube. So it's obviously working for you.
Yeah, no, it is working. It's a great, I mean, for us, it's when you've got a business like ours or a product and brand like ours, you know, people do like to share, and they do amazing experiences. We're really fortunate that we are able to, our customers just experience these incredible areas of the world and what they do, and they like to share it. So if we can benefit as a result of them having an incredible experience, then we're very happy with that.
And your values, fun, family, passion and pride, they're certainly not the sort of stuffy ones that you very often see on a wall in a reception somewhere. So how do you and your team use your values, just so that they're not just words on a wall somewhere? How do you incorporate them into everything you do every day?
Yeah, I have an interesting relationship with values, because I think you're absolutely right. You know, a lot of people have, or most companies have values that either people don't know of them, or they put them on a wall and they say those are our values, and that's who we are. And I kind of, first of all, our values didn't come from myself, didn't come from my brother. It came from our crew. It came from our 400 employees, who really, you know, they were the ones that came up with these, and they chose the ones that they felt best fit with who we are as a business. And I think, you know, fun, family, pride, and passion, you know, they're not just words. They're something that everyone here lives by, and on a daily basis, and takes very personally. And I think those are what I think really sticks out and makes JUCY a very different place to a lot of other businesses. And the harder thing is with any culture, with any business and values, is that when you have multiple locations like we do, it's sometimes hard to you know, you walk into our head office in Fort Street here, and you feel it. You feel the culture. You feel the vibe. You feel it. And sometimes it's harder when you walk into, I don't know, Milford Sound or into Las Vegas. Do you get that same feeling? And so one of our big challenges is to make sure that we have the culture of the organisation and the people. And that's why my brother and I constantly travel. You know, we never want to be the undercover boss who goes into the business and finds out that everyone doesn't like what they do and doesn't know who they are. So we constantly travel. We have a role here called the Queen of Culture, and her role is to work with all our crew around wellness, induction, just in terms of the overall culture of the business, and making sure those values are lived by everyone on a daily basis.
And a crew of 350 people must actually take a lot of work, and it's imperative that they are, like you said, that they're all singing out the same songbook, and that you can walk into one branch and it's the same as the other, and everybody gets the same feeling and is
yeah, I think you got to be really careful though that we don't want to be, you know, forcing culture on people in the sense that, and every location is distinctly different. So in Cairns it is different to Dunedin, and you've got to respect that. And it's kind of working around those differences, but also have the underlying understanding of what JUCY is all about and what we expect our crew to be all about and the experience that we give to our customers. So you do have to be flexible, but there definitely has to be some sort of pretty clear understanding of what we do. And it all comes down to how you recruit, how you induct.
Yeah. So Going further forward then, 2020 is actually only around the corner now, so you're probably looking a bit further afield. Is there anything you can share with us of plans that are on the horizon that far ahead, or is it all a bit hush-hush still?
Oh, yeah, no, we're a pretty open book, to be honest. But I think there's no secret of the fact that we've got big plans to grow our accommodation, the JUCY Snooze portfolio. You know, we see that as a really good opportunity for us, and probably a gap in the market that we're able to fill. And it's been and the product has been so well received in Auckland and Christchurch, and we think that there's opportunity for us to grow that. The campervan business is still, you know, got huge opportunities, not just in New Zealand, Australia, and the US, but further afield. We're looking at opportunities in other markets, but we won't grow for the sake of growing. You know, we'll grow based on what our customers are after. We'll continue to look at how our core market travel, how they communicate, and how we can be part of their journeys and their experiences to give them something unique that they necessarily can't get elsewhere.
And I think it's great and correct that, you know, you say it depends on what your customers are asking for. So they asked for something at Milford Sound, so you've provided it. They've asked for accommodation along the way, so you're providing it. So that's really neat to hear that they are your customers. They tell you what they want. If you can provide it.
Yeah, and I think it takes time. I mean, I think originally in the early days we probably dictated to our customers what we thought they wanted, and not out of arrogance, but more just out of probably didn't really understand the benefits of really communicating and having that very open conversation, whether it's good or bad, with our community. And what's great about JUCY is that we have this incredible community of people that are very passionate about the business and about the brand and about what we want to do, and they share. They tell us when we do things well. They praise us, and when we don't do things well, they criticize us. But they also they defend us. And I think what's really nice about a business like ours and other businesses is when you are forgivable, it's a really nice thing. What becomes a real issue is when brands don't get things right on a regular basis, and they become unforgivable, and then that's when you got a real problem.
Yeah, entirely. All right, well, let's change it back to you personally a little bit in wrapping up then. So what are you currentely reading? Are you reading, do you get to read many sort of relaxing books, or are you constantly on work books? No, I've just come back from finishing a course up in the US, so which had a lot of reading, a lot of case study work. So I read a lot up there. So I was sort of, am I read out? No, I'm not totally read out, but I'm currently, actually a friend of mine from up there gave me a book called The Churchill Factor on Winston Churchill by Boris Johnson, the old mayor of London. I've just started that. That'll be quite interesting. That's a bit of a first for me. I tend to read business books. I like listening to stories about other people. I like autobiographies. I like stuff biographies about whether it's sports players or whether it's business people. I just like reading other people's stories. And do you get much time for watching TV or going to the movies? Is there anything that you're binge watching at the moment? No,
I don't do. I can't go to the movies. I don't have. Unfortunately, I can't sit still for very long. So movie theaters are hopeless for me. So I tend to. I'm very, very short. If I watch anything, it's for a very short period of time.
Okay. And just the last question then, what is your one piece of advice for the audience, no matter what it's on, whether it's life, love, the universe, whatever, what is that one piece of advice you'd like to leave listeners with?
It's a really good question. I think in terms of, from a business perspective, I think one of the greatest things that we did was we started young. We were able to, we started our business at a pretty early age when we didn't have as much risk. I kind of look now and I've got 3 kids and mortgages and all these sorts of things that you tend to become more risk averse. And back then, we just didn't have any risk. We never thought it wasn't going to work, but we just kind of said, we worked as much as we needed to work to make it work and have a go. And I think that was really nice. And we got the backing, which we were very very fortunate to be able to do. So I think if you've got a great idea and you've got a good business plan, and I think the other thing I would say to people as well is, we're so fortunate to live in New Zealand where I reckon everyone is contactable. No one's off limits. If you really wanted to get hold of the PM, you can get hold of the PM if you really want to get hold of any sort of business, and New Zealanders are so keen to give advice and to help, and I don't think you get that anywhere else in the world. So my advice really is to talk to as many people as possible if you've got ideas. And the last thing I would say from a personal perspective is just, I think, you never do it by yourself, and there's no I in JUCY, and this is very much a collaborative effort, not just people that are within the business, but also people at home, whether it's my family or my brother's wife and kids, or it's a very much a collaborative effort that makes this thing happen. So just be really humble the fact that you've got great support around you.
Nice. So where can people find you? What is the website you want to direct people to? I suppose we've got a number of businesses, we have a number of websites. JUCYworld.com is probably the best one to get to, and that'll link you off to wherever you want to go. And if they want to find me, I'm based in Auckland, and I'm the one wearing all the JUCY gear. You can't miss me with the green watch. Well, thanks so much, Tim, for coming on the show. That was great. I wish you all the success. And every time I see one of your green and purple vehicles, I do smile, because they are very cool, and there's so many of them. And it's just a reminder of what a cool business that you've got running within New Zealand. Oh,
thank you very much. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just lost you for a bit there, but I think I caught the gist of it. So all good. And thanks a lot for the opportunity. Really enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks, Tim. You've been listening to Tell Us a Story. Why not subscribe or rate us next time you're on iTunes?